Okay, so basically this is going to be an updated review from the first time I reviewed Netbeans in 2013. All the changes I did, also a review last year in 2024. Right now it's spring 2025, so it's been roughly about a year since the last review of Netbeans. A lot of things have changed even from just last year. So for example, right now it's going to be Netbeans 2025 that came out in December of 2024. So it's still current at the time of this recording. And as you can see here, this is the website. It's on jambo.com/netbeans advanced editor spring 2025 review. Okay, so for this particular review, what we'll do is we'll just base it on features again from the 2013 article, where I had 20 key features I need for coding editor or coding IDE, text editor, or coding or programming text editor. So that's what I'm going to base it on, just to so you can see the progress in the last 12 years. So Netbeans, it's now developed by Apache, or they're the owners of the trademark. So Apache Netbeans, it's available on their site, netbeans.apache.org. So it's available to download for Linux, Mac, and Windows. And it can also be extended with plugins to develop application and other programmers. For example, when you download it out of the box, it comes with C++, C, Java, obviously JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. But you can also, and PHP. But you can, for example, install a Python plugin, and then you'll be able to also edit a Python or create Python applications. So I did a tutorial on that. You can simply go search here. If you search here in the search, you just type in Netbeans, and for example, Python. You can see install the Python plugin for Netbeans IDE. There's also a video you can go and you can go and search and read that article. So this article is just going to be a review. So before we start the reviewing part, I'll show you the website for Apache. So this is the Netbeans apache.org. I will make this a little bit smaller. Oh, come on. I should have made it smaller so you can see what the site actually looks like. I'm not sure what part. Yeah, so I'm just, there we go. So that's the Apache website. And then the license for Apache, obviously, because the Netbeans, it's using the Apache 2.0 license, as you can see here. Apache license 2.0, so it's a permissive license whose main conditions require preservation of copyright and license notices. So just be aware of that. Now we can go back to the article here, scroll down. So if you're having a problem following along with some of the things I'm talking about, like the code editor, what is a code editor, what's an IDE, what's a plugin, what's a theme, what's open source, and SCM. So a code editor is obviously just a programming editor. An IDE is integrated development network. This basically has all the tools, so you don't have to have or install the tools yourself. It comes with everything in a single package. What's a plugin? It's basically a software component that adds specific functionality. What's a theme? So for example, here you can say I'm using the dark theme. So what a theme is just a graphical appearance to a customized look and feel. And what's open source? It's freely available for possible medication distribution. And just to let you know, not all open source are free. Some of them you have to pay for, but the word open source, what it actually means is that you can freely see the code, and then you can obviously you can modify it and redistribute it, obviously depending on what type of license you have. Most of them are free, meaning that you don't have to pay to actually get the source. But free as in yes, most of them are free, and that's why it's a free and open source. And source code management, this is a way you can manage and track modification to the source code repository. So for example, NetBeans comes with Git, Git built in. I do have Git tutorials as well, so if you need an updated one, I'll probably do that later this year as well. So this is my my testing workstation. The CPU is a Intel i7 Sandy Bridge 2600. Memory I have is 16 gig, is DDR3, and the operating system I'm using Fedora Workstation 41, and the desktop environment is GNOME 47. So it is Linux, but as I said, NetBeans can work with Mac and Windows as well. So the test system, so that's the test system, and the test suite I'm going to be using is right here. I'm going to have one large file that's 1 gigabyte. I'll prove this to you that this is readable on the command line. And then I'll create a regex file. Regex just means it's a more advanced search and replace. There's also, let's move this over a little bit here. There's also a syntax file, so want to see if the syntax highlighting works. So I have a PHP file, some HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And then for the media file, I'll try to dump a file into the workspace, see if it opens it up. So that could be either a smiley face or Linux, some JPEG file, or just any image file will work. And I'll show you what Java version I'm using and the NetBeans version. This is obviously 25. This is a mistake. I'll go and change that right now. If you give me a second, that should be just 25. Okay, and I'll hit save. I'll update this so that when you go to look at it, it will not show that mistake. I'm also editing here so I don't make that mistake in the future. Okay. Yeah, so when this is refreshed, this will be 25, the NetBeans version. Okay. So this is how we're going to be testing the scoring. So each feature will be 2 parts. Each feature has 2 parts. That means the feature itself and how well it works for my requirements. So if it works all the way through, then it will get 1.0. If only part of the feature works, it will be 0.5. Obviously, if the feature doesn't work at all, then it will be 0. So that's how it will work. And then, so I used 3 bias elimination steps. The first was that I must be using this editor for at least 3 years. Obviously, I've been using NetBeans since I don't know if it's 2013, possibly also. It's been a while. So obviously, that's more than 3 years. And then I didn't need any plugins except for Python. Obviously, I said you can install for this particular test review. I don't need Python, but you can install Python, so I didn't need this. But if you need it, you might have to install it. And then I didn't need to do this as well, where I need to compare it within the one in repository and the developer site and compiled. So because in Linux, sometimes you might have it in the distributions repository. I didn't use that one. I just downloaded straight from the NetBeans site, this one here. So let's begin. So we're going to go through all these features here. We're going to go through all these features. So what we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to go through all of these ones here one by one. So I'm going to take this onto another screen and just show you a quick workaround. Let me see if maybe I can put this on the left. And oh no, I can't do that because okay, I think I might have to take it completely off screen, but I'll just go through them with you. And I'm going to make NetBeans a little bit smaller just in case people are watching this on a are you watching this on, say, something that's 1916 by, okay. So right now I have the options window open. So as you can see here, I'm in the history view, and the history view shows this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the theme. So this is by default, it just uses the, I guess, a blank, a white or light theme. So to change the theme, you go here to tools, then you go to options. So under options, when the options window pops up, you can see I'm under appearance. And appearance, look and feel, and you see it says flat laugh light. It needs a restart. So if I wanted to change this, I simply I can leave that there, and I go. So if I can go to flat laugh, and I can change the accent colors. I don't want to do that. I can simply just here, and you see there's a dark, and there's also copper tone and copper tone dark. So this is, you can just click dark and hit apply. So it's going to need a restart. So I'm going to okay. So I'm going to, I guess I'm just going to restart it. So Netbeans is restarting. It takes a little while. It's much faster than it was about 12 years ago, but yeah, there you go. See, now it's a dark theme. This is actually better. You can see, and it remembered one thing I do like about this, although it's not part of my my criteria, but one thing I do like, it remembers. You see the positions where I placed this here. So we'll stick with the dark theme. So the only reason I give this a 0.8 instead of a perfect 1.0 is because with some of when you're using a dark theme, you see some of this, it's harder to see. And it's also when you're using Git, for example, sometimes things are color coded. For example, if something needs to be added to the repository, or something hasn't been checked in yet, those type of colors, the dark theme is not, it's way better than it was just even 2-3 years ago, but just needs a little minor tweaks. Other than that, that's the reason I didn't give it a perfect 1.0 score. So it gets a 0.8. So the reason I give it a 0.8, and you said, hey, wait a minute, your scoring criteria is 0.1 and 1. Why did I give it 0.8? Because you might not need that feature. I kind of like it, so that's why I said I can't really give it a 1, but I can't give it a 0.5 because 0.5 is not fair. So that's the only one I broke my own rule right on the first one. Okay, so obviously, let me bring in I'll bring in a terminal here. And I'm going to create a file, and you see it, you can drag and drop. So I'm going to create a file. The name doesn't really matter, so I'll make it just make it a plain text file. Here we go. So it says text. Let me rename it. So I'll call it empty. So it's empty. So if I just drag it, so you can see here. So this passes. Dragging and dropping does work very well. Now, here's where we have problems. You see this file here, this file.txt. This one is a 1 gig file. You can see the size here, it's 1.1 there. It's a pretty big file. So for example, and to prove it to you, if I say, I'll just get the bottom part of it. So I'll say tail file.txt. So you can see, and if I put head file.txt, so you can see this is the head, meaning the beginning, and its tail is a bunch. So it has a bunch of random text in it. So it's one gig, as you can see down here, 1.1 gig. So if I try to open this, let's see what happens. I'll drag it in here. So then, so they did fix this before Netbeans would crash. In 2013, it did crash, but now it says this file seems too large. See, because it's 1 gig to safely open. Opening a file could cause an out of memory error, which would make the IDE unusable. Do you want to open it? So I'm going to do something not very bright. I'm going to put yes and see if it actually opens it. But everything could crash, including this live stream. So let's just go ahead and do it. But you see, at least it gives us this question here. So I'll do this. And remember, I have 16 gigs. And so I think, I don't know how much memory it's using or anything, but it looks like, oh, it looks like it, is this still, wow, I can still click around. So I think it gave up. Oh, there's a little, let's see what's saying down here. Unexpected expression was last used. Okay, so a minute ago. So I'm guessing that was a pop-up to warn us about what was going on. Let's minimize this. So I don't think it's going to open. So that's fine. Let's move on. So I gave that a 0.5 because it did at least try, but instead of crashing, it did give us at least a warning. So that's why that got a 0.5. Now, as you can already see here, I have multiple files open in tabs. You see here, there's actually 2 tabs here. So that gets a 1. So let's move on to number 4, multiple editors with drag of course. For example, this one, I can drag it here. You see, I can drag it down here. So that works. Now, here's something that didn't work in the past, but works now. So for example, if I create a folder, I'm going to create a folder, create a new folder and call it, I'll call it, say, what's the name I can call it here? I'll call it my app. So I'll create a folder called my app, and then inside my app, I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to create a, no, not a folder. I'm going to create a document. Let's make it a PHP file. Okay, and I'll just call this app.php. Now, so this is not a Netbeans project. It's just a custom project I've just created. Sorry, I don't know if you can see this here. Okay, so I forgot to put the, so here we go, I'll put it there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag this into the here, and you see it opened up my app, and it discovered my app here. So this is great. Let me put this here a little bit more so you can see, hopefully you can see that. My app. I don't know where the center is. I should have left aligned this, but here we go. See, here's my app. You can't see it. Just drag a little bit more. My app. Okay, so then what I can do is, I think a little bit more. Oh, where do you need to be? I think that's enough. Okay, you should be able to see the folder my app, and yeah, there we go. You can now see it. Oh, it looks like I need to put it all the way here. Okay, now you should see it. See, it says my app when I just dragged it here. So I'll close it again, and I'll just prove to you that this does work. So if you see my app, if I just drag it into the workspace, you see, here it is, my app. And then obviously, now I can use this as my my project, which is not a Netbeans project. So for example, if I click my app, you see it opens up in here. And because this is the folder or the tab workspace I was working, that's where it opens up. And you see it's a PHP file. So this is working extremely well. Just to know, you see the syntax highlighting is there for PHP, and that's fine. Okay, so one thing we're going to do as well is, so let me get rid of this. So we're going to do soft wrap. I'll show you how you can turn on soft wrap. So for example, you have to go back to the tools and go to options. So under options, you go to editor, and you see here it says there's highlighting, spell check, and folding. Not folding, formatting, I think it was. formatting. You see tabs and indents, and it says used for all languages. So you can set the tab and indentation if you need to do that. What am I looking for? It's not for syntax. You can change the syntax here. That's what I'm not looking for. Where is div output? And here's the terminal. Tab size, you can also set it here. Oh, general. Is it general? No, it's not general. It must be here. It's hard. I'm always used to having a oh, this is, see, detected is PHP. I'm looking for, is it general? Or maybe it's automatic now. They could also be automatic. I haven't inline hints, automatic, code sense, code completion. It's interesting. Where is it? Is it specific to a language? No, it's not. Yeah, it's hard to do this when the screen is smaller. Sorry about that, but I know it should be here somewhere. Is it code templates? No, it's not. It's not language servers. Folding. Thought it'd be under folding. The tabs, spell checker, go to autosave, code completion, formatting. Interesting. It's maybe here. Alignment, space, wrapping. Here we go. Okay, so they put it in a drop down. So it's formatting, then language, or you can pick the global, and then under category you pick wrapping. So and you see here it says wrap after this. This is obviously language specific, but you can also get the other one as well. So that's where it is. Folding, all languages. Enable code folding. Yes, okay, all languages. There we go. Okay, so that's where it is. And then wrap lines. Here it is. Wrap lines. It's under miscellaneous. Wrap lines. So what this means that when you instead of when you keep on typing and it's the code is too long, it will automatically go to the next line. So they call it wrap lines. It's under miscellaneous. Okay, so or soft wrap. And then spell check, as we talked about, also does work. And I showed that to you. Where was that one? Is it editor? Yeah, editor, spell checker. So you can use the spell checker. Right now you see it's English, generic, then US and Great Britain. And on my locale, because I'm in Soviet Kazakhstan, so that's why it's here for Canada. Okay, one of the things that it gets zero is it doesn't have it does not have a word count. So I'll show you where's that empty file. So this is an empty file. I'm going to remove all this. And if you see, if I type hello world, so this is 2 words. There's no way to see that it has 2 words. That's something that sometimes I might need to do a word count. That's something that's lacking. Now there are workarounds for that, where you can run some scripts or go to the command line. So it's not but it still gets 0 because it does not work, or it's not available. So number 10 is go to line can jump. So if you have some type of a code, let's say in here in PHP, you'd be able to jump to, you're able to jump. So what I mean is that if you have multiple functions, let me see if I can pull up. I don't think I have a PHP file for testing right now, but it could be a Java as well. If you have a bunch of, let's say, functions and you want to jump to it elsewhere in the code, you can control click and it will jump to that one. So that does work. Go to line, to a specific line. So you can go to line. For example, if I want to go to line 1 here, it's Control G, I believe it is. Yeah, Control G. So it says go to line or bookmark. So for example, if I put 1, click go, you see, then it went up here. So that's go to. If you forget that, want to use shortcuts, I believe it's somewhere up here as well. That's weird. It's not here. I guess you can get the is it source? I'm not sure. Usually I just use shortcut keys, but yeah, go to line. It's under navigate. So navigate, go to line. See Control G, or if you're on Linux. All right. Indentation, I showed you that. It does indent properly. For example, let's do some coding. Actually, we'll do PHP here. So if I have, let's say it's a for loop. I say for each, I'll say array as array, and then you see that? You see where it indented in here. So that does work. Fonts can be dynamically scaled. So for example, here I'm in PHP. I hold down the Alt key on Linux. You see I can scale. It's very nice and smooth. If I go here, source, you see I can do that as well. If I go this one and hit source, another PHP file, you see I can also I can zoom. I can easily zoom, dynamic scaling. Find and replace. Obviously that does work as well. So let's go to the empty file, and I'll say hello Jane. And so forth and so forth. So for example, if I want to replace spaces, see this is one space here and this is two spaces. So what I can do is Control H, find what, let me see, you can see this. Make this a little bit, where can I zoom in? It's so small. Let me see if I can just, yeah, this is what I want. Okay. So you see, this is the regular expressions here. Match, you see regular expression. So we can do regular expression. So it's /s. You see, it found them. That's a space. So if I want to replace it with, say, let's see, what's one character? Okay. I'll replace it with, I'll press it with the letter Q. Okay, so then I click replace or replace all. So you see all the spaces, it replaced them with the letter Q. Now I can also go here and press with Q, and I'll replace them with a space. Oh, that was silly. What I should have done is, now I gotta replace S. Escaped it. And what I want to do is I want to replace it with just a space. And there we go. So there we go. So regular expressions do work. So that gets a 1.0. And the multiple language syntax, that's number 14. That also works. For example, if we go to our PHP file here, so this is obviously PHP. Down here, I can also do HTML. You see, HTML does work. This should have been, let me actually undo that. HTML. Yeah, see, HTML does work. And obviously, if I made a JavaScript, JavaScript also works. And to prove it to you, I can say document.query. See, query selector. You see that? So the multiple language syntax highlighting does work, and also, as you not just syntax highlighting, but also the code helpers do work as well. The autofill does work for multiple languages. Okay, so we can also do rectangular blocks. You can toggle it for your Linux. It's Control-Shift-R. So for example, if I wanna take this block, like this HTML part here, I simply go here, and as I said, it's Control-Shift-R, and I just go up. So you can see that's a rectangular block. So I only selected the rectangular block here, and you can also toggle it, and you can see it's a rectangular everywhere I go. That's how you know you're still in the rectangular select. It's also down here, up here somewhere. This is why I said That's uncomment. It's usually up here as well. Let me see. Let's go to view. View toolbars. Small toolbar icons. It's up here somewhere. I don't know which one it is. The colors. Is this the one? No, that's a recording, comment, uncomment. It's one of these ones here. I don't know which one it is. Find selection. Oh, here we go. See, toggle rectangular selection, Control Shift R. This is the one. So if I do that, now you see it's back to the normal selection. As I said, this is why I was saying that. This is why I gave the theme a 0.8, because it's hard to determine which is which unless you're using the light theme. Okay. So there's also distraction-free mode. So for example, this app.php, if I double click on it, see, this is the distraction-free. The other windows are gone. You just double click on it. That's the distraction-free. Pretty simple. I like that. And also you can do even more. You can go to view here and you can click show only editor. So that's even a better one. And of course you have full screen as well. Okay, next we move on to, I've shown you the rectangular block selection. You can do multiple selections. So if we go back and so that's a control shift left mouse button. On Macs it will be control shift left mouse button, or command, sorry, on Mac. So obviously, so for example, to do multiple selections, I'll show you how to do that. So you go here, then control shift left mouse button. You see, there we go. You see this, now I have multiple selections. You see this? I have multiple cursors as well. As you can see, I'm in different places here. So for example, if I start typing, you see there we go. So that does work. And just press escape and to stop doing that. Okay, so that does work. However, I can't do a selection with it. I'm not able to do like a search and replace. I can simply just put it there. So that's why that gets a 0.5. Now, I already shown you distraction-free mode. Hide. The line numbers can also be removed, or I like them by having them by default, so I'm not going to. So that's a perfect 1.0. You just go to the options again and you can remove the line numbers. Now obviously if you're just doing plain text, line numbers don't mean anything, but when you're doing coding, it's always nice to see the line number, because if you're debugging, let's say go to line so and so and do it. Now another thing is, we're in the app here. I'm going to discard that. So if I bring back this app, and you see here, I can, inside my app, I can right click on it, I can create new, I can create another folder inside it. So I'll call it app 1. So inside app 1, I can go there and then also create a new, I can put other, for example, and I can create, you see, an XML file or other, and I could create an HTML file. So let's create a JSON file, and I'll call it, a new JSON is fine. I'll click finish. See, you notice where it says project, it says project none. And now you see if in my app here, I create app 1 and I create a JSON, which is this one open here. So that clearly passes as that's number 19. And on the last one, there's an integrated terminal. So to get the terminal, you go to view here, and let's see. If it doesn't show up, you can position it. It's very hard because I'm used to using a larger monitor like 4K or 5K, so this one is really hard to work with. But it should be under. Here, open in terminal. Not open in terminal. So you can click open in terminal, and the terminal comes here. You see by default, it's where you see it open up in app 1. So the terminals here, it's integrated right in the folder, and you can do other things that you do want. And you see now I have the terminal here. So for example, if I go to empty, this one here, and I go to, was it tools? open in terminal. I can also open that in terminal. You see, look at the folder. See, this folder is different. So that's a nice trick to have. Sometimes you might want to just drop down to terminal and do things. Now, if I had a project open, I would be able to there's a feature called follow folder, meaning that if I go to different folders, it will automatically follow the terminal follow that automatically. Okay, so that's the end of that part of the what do you call it? That's the part of the review. So the overall score I give Netbeans is an 86% or 8.6 out of 8.6 out of 10 or 86.5%. Now I want to put back the, where is the, oh, here we go. So here we go. This is, as you can see here, I gave it a 8.6 or 86.5%. The reason, as you see, these are the scores here, all 20 of them, and that's the reason. This screenshot is missing for some reason. I'll fix that. I'll fix that by the time you actually go to the site. You'll be able to see it. And then this is the video you're watching right now. Just to let you know, Netbeans can be used immediately after opening Java. As you saw, there's HTML5, JavaScript, CSS, C, C++, and PHP applications. For this review, I created custom files and used to test the coding editing of Netbeans. So just one more thing before we finish Netbeans here is, if you go to File and you create a new project, for example, you see this will come up. It will ask you, you can make a Java, HTML5, JavaScript, C++, PHP, and I said if you can also extend it by going, if you go to Tools, Plugins, and you see there's available plugins. You can install some of these plugins, add features that maybe are missing, or you can search as well for others. Or sometimes might be a specific URL. For example, if I was looking, I don't think any of this has Python, for example. I don't see Python here. So what I would do is obviously go and download it or search for it from a different repository and then install it. Under here, see add plugins. You can also do that as well. So for example, here search, if I say Python, nothing will show up because right now it's not there. It's probably a different repository, so you need to add it. And here it shows the ones that are installed by default when you install. So you can see PHP, C++. Maybe I installed Python already. No, Python is not here. Probably have to reinstall it because I'm using version. So, I forgot to tell you one thing is, if I go to help here, I want to prove to you. You see here, I'm using, as you can see here, it says Java. It's OpenJDK 21.06, OpenJDK, and I'm running Linux, Fedora Linux, and see it's Apache. What version of Apache? Here you see product version, Apache NetBeans IDE 25. Okay, so back here, as I mentioned, as NetBeans is open source, it's under the Apache license version 2.0. The permissive license has conditions requiring preservation of copyright license notices. And also, just a quick reminder that every day there will be a live stream, and you're free to join the live stream and ask questions. Check ojambo.com for details and instructions. You can scroll down the footer. I'll show you that in a second. So as where you talked about this, I'll not repeat myself again. So as you saw, I love the dynamic zoom. It's very fast, and the workarounds exist for any perceived lacking of features. Overall, Netbeans scored an 8.6 out of 10 for essential code editor features. If you enjoy this, please consider supporting me by purchasing one of my WordPress plugins or programming online courses or publications, or becoming a donor. You can click here to get to ojambo.com/donate, or you can go here in the header and just click donate. That's on ojambo.com. It's in the header. You see when you scroll, the header stays there. You can simply go there. So here are the references. The links will also be in the description. I have a link to Apache Netbeans. I will go to the site there. Then you can go and download for your specific operating system. So for example, here, when I go to download, if I go to the download page, you see here I can download for Linux. I'm guessing it detected I was Linux. So there's no, that's not true. Here's one for Windows and others, and then you can see there's community versions, and it explains all the issues you might have, and so it's right there. Okay, I have the customer sites plugin for WooCommerce. I have the Learning JavaScript course, Learning Python course, Learning PHP course is available on ojamboshop.com. The links are in the description. I also have book versions of those courses. There's the JavaScript paperback on Amazon, ebook on Amazon. There's a Python ebook on Amazon and the PHP ebook on Amazon. If that's not enough, you need something else. Maybe you want a custom website, or you need to migrate, or maybe help with Linux, Unix, programming. You can contact ojamboservices.com. It could also be for databases, or if you want to learn how to program yourself. Yeah, online tutorials are available. We can also do in person, but that might be a distance issue, so online is why I'm offering it. Okay, and I think that's good. Here in the footer, as I promised, we scroll down all the way to the footer. Okay, why am I not going to the footer? Okay, make this a little bit smaller. Oops. What is going on here? Wow. Okay. Anyway, in the footer, here are the channels: Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, and YouTube, where you can follow. Okay, so that's it. I'll see you in the next video.